Georgia announced there were 61 anti-Cop City activists who have been indicted under a RICO Act, starting from actions that started in July of 2020, even predating the existence of Cop City. Apparently, it was the same grand jury, though not the same prosecutor. In fact, one prosecutor resigned, I think, over the course of the summer, or because they didn't want to. They thought that the way this case was being handled was inappropriate. Same grand jury that indicted the RICO Act with the Trumpsters et al. Indicted these folks. We'll dig into this more, but here is Deshaun. That is their only name as far as I know. Editor of Southern Abolitionist magazine, Scalawag. And it is making their statement regarding what Atlanta is doing.
I think this is a really, really, really important moment, right? Because Atlanta sort of serves as a litmus test, right, to determine what is and is not doable or what is and is not okay, because we have such a distinct and profound Black misleadership class, right, this Black elite class. And so in many ways, folks are sort of seeing that if Atlanta allows for something like a Cop City to happen, then it can happen everywhere else, right? So now we're seeing that Baltimore is proposing a Cop City that's being not only funded by, but also on the campus of an HBCU in the city, right? We see that happening with Chicago. We see it happening with Portland. We see that happening with a bunch of different cities around the country. And we will see it happening beyond the country itself, right? And so in many ways, we are witnessing Atlanta function as the city that helps to determine what comes next and what will be allowed in other cities.
It's also just crazy, too, because for all of the accusations of the prosecution against Trump in Fulton County using RICO charges being a political one, this is the definition of a political prosecution, I would think, going after these kinds of protesters because they oppose the construction of this like police city for environmental and, defund reasons with charges, going after charges with activists. There were other charges that they leveled against them for essentially fundraising for their legal defense. I mean, they're throwing the book at these people.
You read the indictment and like somebody got charged accused of furthering a conspiracy because they signed a document ACAB for all cops are bad.
The thing that I don't understand about this ultimately in terms of a RICO prosecution is what was the illicit thing that all of these, because you can be, if you're part of a RICO investigation, these are all questions I have that, I think when time we're going to hear at least some of the answers, whether they are legit or not, we'll have to find out. But the whole idea of a RICO thing is that you can be engaged in legal behavior for an illegal ends. And it's unclear to me here, what is the illegal ends? There was certainly some behavior that people could go to jail for. You can't throw a Molotov cocktail at, anybody for that matter, and not expect to have, some type of repercussions in terms of that. And that makes sense. But the way that handing out flyers would have to be considered an illegal act under a RICO indictment is that the ends of that or the project that's associated with that would have to be illegal. And it's unclear to me how raising political awareness and politically fighting against a project or whatever it is an illegal act. Like, I don't understand what the illegal, I understand that they, I understand a RICO act because in the context of let's say the Trump indictment, the illegal act was the attempt to vacate a legal election.
Yeah.
And so there were things that they did that were legal, isolated. But I mean, can you imagine if a RICO statute was applied to what happened on January 6th?
Yeah.
There would be thousands of people who would be would be round up in that. It seems to me.
Roger Stone. But it's because they previously also charged, I think, many of the 61 in that in these RICO charges with domestic terrorism. I mean, that was a few weeks ago or months ago, right? So they're literally trying with all of their might, it seems to be, the powers that be in Georgia, to do whatever they can to stop these kinds of activists. And they're going with RICO charges, which, to be honest, I mean, we'll have to look further into it, but it seems a little suspicious on the heels of this Trump thing.